Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 94 of Confessions of a Market Maker. I'm your co host, Ray, aka All Day Ray, aka Rambunctious Raymond, and I'm joined here by my infamous co host, former market maker for 20 years and current day retail trader, the man who's bitten off more poisonous fruit than Adam and Eve, aka the third Butabi brother, JJ. How's it going, man?
Good brother. How are you?
I'm doing very good. I know a lot of new listeners. I don't think they aware of your background as a nightclub bouncer. Do you ever miss those days at all, JJ?
Hey, somebody was drunk in the room yesterday. Yesterday in Globex. So I felt like I was back. At the
Mm-hmm.
back in the club, right? But he was okay. He was just, after work and
Yeah. If the conversation in one of these podcasts ever lead down that direction, listeners, there's some funny stories I know JJ has shared from those times. So definitely.
oh yeah, being a bouncer in the late '80s and early '90s, man, that was yeah, you know, the things that people would do before camera phones. My God, you
Yeah. I mean,
know.
Vancouver being a place where a lot of what like movies, TV sets were being filmed. I know you encountered some celebrities there as well,
Oh yeah, like our favorite actor Richard Grieco,
huh?
and and Johnny Depp and that whole crew because they used to film 21 Jump Street,
Yeah.
right? So all those guys used to come to the club. Nice guys, right? Before they all became super wealthy and famous, right?
Hmm.
And my one of my buddies was a stand-in for Richard Grieco, but he took it too far, man. He would like dress like him and act like him, and he try and convince girls that he was Richard. Oh, it was hilarious,
Yeah.
Vancouver was a city of characters, that's for sure. And as a doorman, you just sat on your stool at night and you just watched these guys work the rooms, and it was great entertainment.
Yeah. I'm sure it was, and just don't want to be sued. Just don't want to be
Yeah, just no
sued.
lawsuits, no lawsuits, right?
So yeah, I think it's been I think 2 weeks since the last time we did one of these market update podcasts. You were vacationing in Spain, JJ. How was the trip, man?
Oh man, it was the first time I've taken an entire week off since 1995. My girlfriend treated me and took me on vacation, and flights from London to Barcelona aren't that expensive. They have really cheap flights, not like Canada where there's like two airlines.
How long is the
So
flight? How long's the flight?
it's like 2 hours,
No,
right?
nothing. Yeah.
Just a couple hours, right? And it's funny because we went to Northern Ireland. She had a medical conference in Belfast, and then down to Barcelona, and that was basically the whole week off. And we were in Barcelona for 4 days, and my God, what a place, man! Those people know how to live. They know how to live. You know, it's a completely different lifestyle. So nice down there. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Shout out.
friendly people too.
Yeah, shout out to the good Spanish people.
Yeah.
Love, much love.
Hola.
Yeah. So, just a reminder to the listeners, if you'd like to join a professional and supportive community of traders, you can join JJ and myself at microefutures.com. We're helping both futures and equity traders get funded by prop firms. You can come join us at microefutures.com. JJ, obviously, this has been a very interesting year, in the markets. It's been a bit of a challenge for myself having to adjust my trading style at
Oh
times,
yeah. Yeah.
especially recently. But I think it's helping me become a more rounded trader. We were having a discussion, on the equity side this morning. On that, I got to take profit a little bit quicker. Uh,
Oh yeah.
I'm playing some different stocks at times, even some indexes. I'm waiting a little bit longer, having more patience in the morning. Not, sometimes I'd be real quick off the open. Now I'm waiting at
Yep.
least like 15 minutes or so. Um, but like I mentioned, I think it is helping me, add some plays to the playbook, rounding out myself as a trader. How about for yourself? Any adjustments for you or for what you've been seeing from other traders in the room?
Definitely. I do see that people do have tough time adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
I told people that this fall was going to be different, just like last fall. I told everybody that January, February of this year was going to be different, and it was. This fall is going to be challenging, right? This market is looking it's trying to find a bottom. And when markets are trying to find a bottom where the large investment money will step in and buy for more than 2 days, it can, price exploration can be kind of painful, right? Um, it's painful if you're not managing your risk, and every day is different. Like you'll come in for sure thinking that the market's going to break and go lower, and then it'll rally like 100 points
Hmm.
because you'll get a short covering rally. Today we hit a new low, right? We took out the S&P low and put in a new low, which prompted a ton of short covering,
Yeah.
right? But nobody really thought about that. And even myself, I was like, why is there so much buying? Duh, they're all covering their shorts because they broke the yearly low.
Mhm.
So that's what pushed it right back up from, the 35.95 up to 36.29 where it is now. Now, whether that short covering is enough over the next couple of days to get us back up and over certain levels with Fed minutes coming out,
Yeah.
it's there's a lot of volatility. Every day is different. The ranges are big. Sometimes it's really choppy because we have inconsistent order flow, which means the large investment houses, they're not putting positions together, so they're not acting like those shock absorbers that cushion the market. So the large momentum traders are like, oh my God, this is like Disneyland for them, right?
Hmm.
They're buying size and then selling it 20 or 30 points higher and just making a killing, right? Some of these trading shops. And good for them, right? When the cat's away, the mice will play. So
Hmm.
that's probably filtered into equities. I haven't really been watching the equities that much. I was looking at Palantir and Apple and the usual
Yep.
the usual suspects to see what what they're going on, and they're all still kind of looking like they're trying to find a bottom, you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
and that's going to happen. Hopefully they'll get some year-end markup as these guys and curls want to push their bonuses up at the end of the year,
Yeah.
right? That's always a fun and popular thing,
Yeah.
you know. So that's what we're looking at right now, and it's frustrating for the retail trader right now, especially if they're trying to swing trade, because trying to swing trade these large ranges means that you have to have monk-like discipline with your risk management, or your entries have to be like picture perfect,
Yeah. You have
right?
great entries. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So and usually both. You need to have good risk management and great entries,
For sure.
right? So it's not easy swing trading, right?
Yeah, I have,
Uh,
and I like swing trading. I haven't really been doing much of it. Also just things not really setting up to my liking
yeah.
um, for swing trading. I've been trying to reframe my mind. Yeah, I mean, and I always kind of thought like this, but it was good. I got a reminder last week. I saw a quote, and I think it was by Teddy Roosevelt, and I forget the exact quote, but it was something of the nature of him like embracing challenge, and that was like kind of, I guess, really like the ethos of his life. Uh,
Oh yeah.
was always just going head first into challenges to battles and stuff, and like yeah, we're kind of like trading is like a lot more of a battle right now than since I started 3 years ago.
Oh yeah. And
Um,
it's not going to get any easier
right.
going into the end of the year, right? So if you're okay with that, then it's cool. You have to. What I do, like for the last 2 days, for me, quite honestly, I didn't know what the hell was going to happen when I sat down at that London Open.
Hmm.
So I just trade small, right? And I'll use micros to see whether I'm actually in the groove of this and whether I'm seeing it. And if I start getting stopped out, then I know, oh, I'm missing something and I got to go back and look, right? And I'll use that. I'll pay for that knowledge, right? I'll pay 15, 20 bucks here, 15, 20 bucks there. That way, if you use a micro, that's the nice thing about trading futures. You don't really blow a lot of cash to see whether or not your brain is working, right? And then if it's working, then you can start sizing in and then using a larger instrument like the mini,
Hmm.
right? So, but I'm still trading very short-term time frames. Like my trades are quick. I'm in and out and in and out because the buying doesn't last, and then sometimes the selling just shuts off like a switch,
Right. Well,
right?
speaking to the like the at the choppy times, at times it gets choppy. A lot of times don't know when it's coming.
Yeah.
Having these volatile ranges, and so like I was mentioning, as I was opening up this topic, I've been way quicker with my trades. I don't even really like trading that way, JJ. To be honest,
Yeah,
I'm more of like a
longer
longer
term.
day trader
Yeah.
slash swing trader. But I've been taking real quick trades. But and I think, and that's where I was going with like embracing like the challenge of like a newer environment or a different environment than we've had.
Oh, definitely.
Is that it's helping round me out. Like I'm learning. It's like like impressing this upon me
Yeah,
um, to learn to trade the style, and I think that's good, or at least overall or long term for me
it
as
is.
a trader.
Like when I started, I'd be like, you know what, this isn't my type of market. I'm not going to trade it,
Hmm.
and that's okay because because I admitted that I didn't have the skill to trade it.
Hmm.
Right. Then I learned how to trade chop, and it took a while. Right. I learned to use the stops for entries and exits. I also learned how to use the stops for targets. Right. If you're long from one level and it can't take out the upper stop, then get the hell out of the trade, right? And book that money, right? Because base hits do add up, right?
Yep.
They really add up, and a lot of people don't recognize that. They're looking for those 60-point moves, but they don't have the skill to trade a 60-point move, right? And that's hard to do. I mean, sometimes I don't have the skill to trade that kind of move. So I'll cut it up into like 5 3-point move trades, right? And take
Hmm.
30 points on the day, right? But I'll take 2 points here, 3 points here. It adds up. Like I used to have this old Italian client, and he used to say, "Listen, kid, don't get greedy. A million here, a million there. It adds up,
Hmm.
right? Don't look for that $10 million a day payday. If you make a million, take it.
Yeah.
So that's I learned much smaller, ranges now that you're day trading retail as opposed to doing deals. But it's the same spirit where I'm just looking to get paid in this market, and I'm looking that when I'm wrong to admit I'm wrong quickly and get the hell out of Dodge before it,
Yeah.
gets ugly.
Yep. Yep. Get it how you live, man. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's yeah, for sure. Like it's just having knowing where your edge is, and like you said, it's okay to sit back, sit out, and that patience,
Yeah.
the patience is what actually gets you paid.
It does.
Well, it
It
saves
does.
you, and that's just as good as a win, right?
Oh
Like a big
yeah.
win is saving
Yeah.
yourself from a big loss.
I mean, the thing too is everybody, carps on about being patient, and it drives people crazy. They're like, what the F do I got to be patient for? Well, sometimes you got to be patient while you're waiting for those large traders to finish their business, and that'll pave the way for your trade, right? It's kind of like, if you're a running back, you got to wait for your lineman to
Cool.
make
Yeah,
the hole, right?
yeah,
If you're there before him, it's let him work, let him do his work, right? Let the rich guys. I always say it's like, if you go out with a buddy of yours who's just made $100 million on a deal, when the bill comes at the end of the meal, you got alligator arms. Don't go reach for your wallet just yet. Let him pick up the tab. Let the rich guys and the big, large traders sort out certain things like poor lows and especially like 52-week lows. Let them come in and do their business. Let them pay the tab, and then you get on the ride afterwards, right?
yeah.
You know, there's sometimes where you got to be cheap. It
And
pays.
absolutely, and like you always preach, this is treat this like a business.
Exactly.
You always juice me up with the football analogies, man. Like because they correlate so well in my mind. Because some of the best
Oh
running
yeah.
backs, JJ, are the patient runners.
Yeah.
Like he does, sometimes hitting the hole fast is what you have to do when it's there,
Do
but
yeah.
then
Yeah.
sometimes like those patient runners, man, wait for the play to develop and
Yeah.
hit it when
And then
once your edge is there, then you hit it.
yeah, it's funny, and they just turn on the Jets and they're gone, and you're like, where the hell did he come from, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And he's just waiting for that opportunity, and that's really hard, and that's hard to do when you just start out,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That
sure.
experience, a lot of people forget that this is a skill, right? And so the analogy I came up with today is like if you're going to learn how to juggle, right? Learn how to juggle the Nerf balls first before you move on to chainsaws,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know,
Yeah.
just take your time and understand that you are trying to learn in some of the most challenging market conditions we've seen,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so be a little bit patient with yourself, right? It's going to take some time before you actually start making money,
Yeah.
right? And that's really hard to deal with because most people get into trading are type A personalities. They want to take the bull by the horns. They want to take their future into their own hands. and they're like, Jesus, I'm sitting here waiting. I'm not making any money, and I'm sitting here watching this, but you're gaining experience while you're watching, right?
Yeah. And that's
Um,
and that's just as good as in my mind, right? Like we're saying, it's tougher conditions. It's improving yourself as a trader. And like, let's say maybe you're not making money right now. And like you always say, JJ, like this is a long run game. You're going to be trading for 30, 40 years, depending on your
yeah,
age and whatnot. But
yeah,
if you can build it up now, like the money will come eventually. Like
it
this is
will.
this is this
It
is the
will.
time to improve yourself as a trader
Yeah, it
during
is
tough times.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've seen that. We've got lots of folks in our room.
Hmm.
We've got our guy Eric and Elsie. Like LC now, you see him taking he's taking like 15, 20 point trades now for size, and 3 months ago, 2 months ago, he was just in and out for a couple of points, in and out for a couple of points,
Beautiful.
but he's really developed his edge. And now he's putting it together. Mr. Good he's another one of our guys. This guy started out and he started out he'd been trading for a while, had his ups and downs, and then he came into our room, and man, he put in the hours. Like he's in there at 3 in the morning, he's there at 9 in the morning, he's there at 2 in the afternoon. Sometimes he falls asleep at his monitors. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that, but he put in the work, and now he's trading like $1 million, and he's of these prop accounts, and he's doing really really well. But he did put in. God, he put in the time.
Yeah,
He put in the time in a big way and sacrificed a lot of his personal life to do it. And that's a lot. That's the problem with this thing, is it does involve sacrifice,
yeah,
right? Just like anything else, where if you want to achieve greatness, you are going to have to sacrifice your time, right?
absolutely.
It's
Just
hard, right?
yeah, it's,
You
it's
know,
fundamental. It's
yeah.
fundamental, man. JJ, I know we spoke a little bit on previous podcasts about you trading. Because you're in London now, right? So different
Yeah.
time difference. Trading some like Globex, in the morning
Oh yeah.
when you wake up. The past 2 days have got me thinking a little bit, and I want to ask you this about Globex. Um, about maybe like any clues or tip offs that maybe like how Globex is behaving and its effect it's going to have on the regular trading
Oh
hours.
yeah.
Because the past 2 days, I noticed like we started trending up like right into the open
Yeah.
to proceed two big dumps. Now we bounced back today, um, in a good way. I was it just got me thinking: is there any things you see sometimes during Globex that might maybe give you some tip offs to what might happen during the RTH?
Definitely. When that Globex inventory gets too short at night, you do see, as Dalton says, a move higher to correct that inventory.
Mm,
And that's been happening quite a bit in the last 2 days. We've had, the overnight gets too short, and then the short covering comes in and just decimates guys who get short at the bottom, right? It traps people in the hole. Like tonight, our overnight low was at 35.85 ish. We looked below that in RTH and then came back up. And when we looked below it, you could see everybody getting short underneath 35.90. And now the market's at 36.36, and it's just, it's being supported by short sellers who got short in the hole, right? And you have to look for covering at certain places. Like 35.95 was a big level. It's a swing low. It's the low of the year. And when we took that out, a lot of people used that opportunity to come in and cover because they knew that there would be sellers there, right? And they sucked up all the supply. So yeah, the overnight really does help because you do get those moves higher off the overnight inventory. Just like sometimes that pre-market in equities, because equities open like pretty early.
yeah.
So sometimes you'll see them dump early in the pre-market, and the large wholesalers just grab all the supply and then lift the market at the open and sell into the buying, right? That's very common in these markets. I'm curious. I haven't looked at equities in a while, so I'm curious to see you know what the hot stocks of the day are these days, in the equities area.
Yeah, man, hot stocks. I'm not. I don't think much is hot right now. but I would say they're kind of more or less. I mean, I can't speak for everything, but they're more or less probably following the ES
Yeah.
from what I could tell. Um,
Yeah.
uh, JJ, how about trading Globex? I know this is something we've also touched on as well. Um, differences in price action or
Oh,
just
yeah.
in general, do you have a preference on trading Globex or RTH or just anything in general of that
I
nature?
like I love trading. Ever since I moved to London, and my girlfriend for a year was telling me before, when we met, before I moved to London, she was like, "You got to trade the London Open," and I just didn't. I wasn't awake enough to do it, because it's two o'clock, 2:30 in the morning, New York time,
Mhm.
right? Which is, I mean, if you've got a life and a job, like I didn't have a life, but even then, I had a trouble getting up at that morning and being clear-headed. But I'm telling you, that London Open time, that Globex time when the European and London markets open, the order flow is nice and it's all inventory trading, so you can trade quite nicely. The order flow is more smooth. The agenda is very clear because they're just going to buy a bunch of cheap crap and sell it higher, right? And there's not as much chop. So, like today, I was up like 20 points before the market even opened, right? It's nice because you can get up, you make your money, and that takes the pressure off RTH because sometimes RTH can be very choppy,
Sure.
right?
Hmm.
And that really that can really help. So I recommend we do a Zoom at 2:30 in the morning New York time,
Oh
right?
wow.
And but we get like 50 people on, Europeans and
Yep.
people in England, and we get a lot of people in New York who get up, and then the people in the night owls on the West Coast. It's great for them. We even had some Hawaii traders. It's like 10 o'clock at night for them there, and they're up. Um, you know, so yeah, it's a good thing. It really I suggest for newer traders too, the price action slower, you can see things happen slower, so you can adapt and adjust and control your risk, and you don't get so freaked out when those big moves happen.
Hmm.
It's a lot better to learn how inventory works and how price action and order flow react to inventory. Um, and you can make some money. The nice thing is you can make some shekels before the open, so it takes that edge off, so you're not like jonesing for a trade at 9:30, which a lot of people are, and that means they'll make a mistake because they feel like they have to trade at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, and definitely, and it's tough trading like uh just right off the open too, right?
It is. It is.
It's. I mean, you get big
Yeah.
movements,
Yeah.
easily fake outs. Um,
Yeah.
especially
It's
I've been.
not easy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have before, JJ. Like, I mean, it depends, right? There's always some like nuance, but I used to never care too much. Like, if I thought it was a good setup, a good trade, that I was eyeing it, and usually I know like pre-market, I have an idea. I'll take it relatively soon, if not pre-market. Now I'm forcing myself to wait 15 minutes before trading anything. Let me kind of get a sense of direction for the day, or where we're heading. And I think that's something you're a proponent of too as well. Just like sit back, get a feel for how things are going.
Yeah. Now, in the last year, I have been trading the open more
Mm-hmm.
because I got used to it, right? And not right away, but I'll let it open up, and within the first 5 or 10 minutes, I'll take a couple of little test trades to see if what I'm thinking how the market's opening is working, right? But I don't go all in, right? And when I first started, I didn't trade the first hour because I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. And there's something liberating about going, you know what? I do not know what's going to happen. Let me wait and see what happens.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
that kind of sets up better trades for later, right? Because you let the market build out some structure, right? And that really helps. I've been really focusing on short-term, quick trades in and out in these markets to help people, make that $200-300 a day so you can make an income.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I say is, if you make, if you're making like 2 or 3 points on 2 or 3 e-mini contracts, you can actually pay your bills with that. I mean, unless you're living like Khashoggi or something like that. But unless you got a $200,000 a day habit or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're making $300 to $500 every day, steady, just a couple of points here, a couple of points there, just 20 trading days in a month, it adds up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trading for income is the way to go right now. Trading for glory is an account killer, and it's going to be in this fall, right? Until those big institutional investors, right, step in and start buying large positions and providing some sort of a price buffer, right? Because right now we have, our low is 35.80, our high is 36.40. It's just 40 points short of a 100-point range, right? It's not easy to trade this stuff, right? So, you got to sort of, you know, carve it up, right? It's like when you go to those restaurants where they give you, you eat the 72-ounce steak in 90 minutes. You can't eat that whole thing in a bite, man. You got to carve it up, take it in digestible chunks,
Mm-hmm.
right? And, just make sure you pay yourself in this market, right? And what I tell a lot of guys, I know I'm talking too much, but, I tell a lot of folks, if you are a new trader and you start becoming consistent, take money out of your account every week. So you can't get your ego can't get its paws on it and try and size up and do all these crazy things. Pay yourself every week, take that money out and save it for a rainy day because they will come, you know.
Mm-hmm. It will come in. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, man. It is, and I think too. At least it seems like it now, right? You're not seeing the social media like glamour of trading.
Oh,
People are realizing it's not all glory, right? Like treat this like a
oh yeah.
business, and those are the people that are going to survive through these type of
Yeah.
conditions. Are the people who treat it
All,
like a business.
yeah, all those flash in the pan guys, they were like, "Oh, buy this stock at 16," and you take a look at these deals now and they're trading at $2. It's like, oh yeah, were you getting paid to pump it? Of course you were. Did you disclose you were getting paid to pump it? Of course you didn't, right? But you just sandbagged the entire world in this piece of garbage, right? And there was one of those stocks where people were buying it. It was last year, and I was telling people, Jesus, please, please don't buy this stock, and they were buying it
Yeah.
$10, $12, $5. And I said, if it loses five, it's over. That stock is now trading at 78 cents a share, right? And there are people I know that were long this thing at 15, at 12, at 20, and they just believed everything that the company was saying while they were dumping millions of shares of S8 stock into the float, right? Now the thing is lucky if it'll get over $1 again, right? It's a penny stock and it's trading on Nasdaq. And the chart doesn't lie, right? You can't fake the transactions. If a chart looks like a ski slope, it's because somebody is selling stock every single day. And most probably they got it for free or close to free.
Mm-hmm. That's the beautiful thing, man. The chart tells you all you need to know. You don't need to know
Yeah.
about this economic data and all that. And
No.
empower to the people that
No.
do use that
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's cool, but it's
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
you don't need
No.
to.
I mean, if you have a year view or a 2-year view, then of course you got to factor those things in. But if you're a trader, right, and look at a swing low and a swing high, and if we take out that swing low, don't stand in front of it,
Mm-hmm.
trying to buy it because you're going to get pummeled. You know, there come certain times where you know, or if you're a short seller and you're shorting a stock and it won't break a level, don't be delusional. You just don't have the supply to break that level. Cover, you know.
Mm-hmm. So JJ, you you mentioned disclosing, people disclosing having shares in the company or not. It made me think of this, man. And I thought this was pretty ridiculous. So you're good friends at the SEC.
Oh,
What they find Kim Kardashian. I don't know, 1.2 mil. I could be wrong, something around there, over $1 million for failing to disclose she was, I don't know, into some crypto coin or project. I don't know the details, but it made me think. One, it's such a joke, right? Um,
It's
the
like a
the
parking ticket.
yeah, right, right. One, it's a joke. And like they're what are they trying to use Kim Kardashian as like a what's the word, like an example? They're treating her as
Yes.
an example. Meanwhile, I'm
Yes.
thinking of like, what about all these politicians?
Oh man,
Oh, with
I
the
look.
trading, I'd seen the trading record, JJ. I saw someone like have the record of like the
Oh
entries and
really?
exits of these politicians on some and like the gains they've had on some of these stocks. Not to take this down the political route, but I know
No, I
it's a
know, but
joke.
come on,
It's just
yeah.
a joke. It's a joke.
It's just like in London here. And I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I'm gonna say it. The Minister of Finance put out a budget, and one of his buddies was short the pound when it came out, just by coincidence.
Yeah, yeah,
And this guy used to work for this guy who was a hedge fund, manager, and who banked a beautiful profit off of that short. And so it's just like, oh my God, can you guys be a little less obvious? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and oh, okay, thanks for that info, and we'll see you at lunch. I'm buying. It,
sure.
it that is just rampant. It is rampant in our industry, and not that I'm sure that Miss Kardashian got some bad legal advice about disclosure, but if she only got away with $1 million fine compared to what she probably made on the deal, it's like a parking ticket. You know, they'll pay that probably without admitting or denying any responsibility. That's usually how the lawyers get it. And that's yeah, it's just the flagrant abuse of some of these insider trading laws is just crazy. But hey, that's the business in it. It's the way it's been for 300 years. So we don't think about that too much, but it is interesting when you see that in the headlines. You see you see some pretty crazy stuff going on. And I didn't even know until lately that it was okay for your politicians to trade on insider information.
I
You
don't
know,
think it is. At
you
least I
know,
don't. At least I don't think. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know
yeah,
the exact
I don't know.
laws, but I would imagine. I mean, there's got to be some.
There's got to be something, but
I got to
who
be
knows?
something.
Who knows? That's not for us to say. That's why we'll just stick to our charts and our structure and our inventory and just grind it out.
Yeah.
It's we'll leave those Secretary of the Treasury things for those who went to Harvard.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll leave it. We'll leave it to those folks. JJ, before we get out of here, um, so yeah, so like I mentioned, the past 2 weeks, it's our first time on in the past 2 weeks. Anything different you're seeing based on TPO charts, anything of that nature, kind of more or
I'm
less the
seeing.
same.
I honestly I'm seeing these buck ass wild ranges. They're big
Mm.
ranges, right? And the market's looking for buying. I'm looking to see where we get some price stability. Until then, I'm going to trade, relatively small. Do look for volatility this fall. Uh, Please watch your risk this fall because you want to try and hold on to the gains that you made this year, right? As the last quarter comes in, those of you who've had a good year, now is your time to hold on to that money, right? Those of you who didn't have a good year, don't try and make it all up in the last 3 months, right? Take it easy. There's a new year coming. Just like every month we get a new month and it's a fresh sheet of paper. Um, and if you need help, reach out to us. We're always around,
Yep.
right? And not likely we have all the answers, but we'll help you find the answers. If we don't know them, we'll find someone who does.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We like to help people, guide them in the right direction, right? JJ, think for
Hmm.
themselves. Um, so, you can figure this game and go the direction that makes sense to you.
Exactly. I'd always one thing I will tell people, I mean, even people who follow me on Twitter, do your own research, do your own due diligence,
Mm,
right? Um, nothing is better than you learning what to look at and then you trading your money around what you have learned. And that does take some time, but do your own due diligence, and that way you'll be able to you'll have a fighting chance. If you trust somebody else's analysis all the time, it's difficult.
yep. 100%. And so that's going to conclude today's episode of Confessions of a Market Maker. If you enjoyed the episode, please rate and review it for us. If you'd like to join a professional and supportive community of traders, you can join us at microefutures.com. I'm Paulie Walnuts. He's the gorilla of House Street. You stop, so.
Have a good night, everyone.